Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is TowerGate day number 736, March the 30th, 2019, Saturday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, let's get started. Alrighty, so yesterday I mentioned to you that that Judicial Watch had gone to a judge to try to force the Comey memos to be released. The FBI's been withholding them. There's been multiple FOIA requests for them. Judicial Watch, of course, CNN, various other media organizations trying to get their hands on them, and the FBI's been blocking it. So Judicial Watch actually went to court, as they usually do. And the judge has now ruled, and the judge has ruled that the FBI must hand over those Comey memos by April the 1st, clean and unredacted. Uh-oh. Now, these are the 7 memos that detail 9 conversations that the dishonorable James Comey had with Trump. Some of these memos are the memos he leaked to his friend, who then leaked them to the media. And Comey said he leaked those memos to his friend, who leaked them to the media, for the purpose of getting a special counsel appointed. So the FBI, for whatever reason, has been holding on to these, has not wanted to let go of them. But now the judge has ordered that they must clean and unredacted by April 1st. I believe that's Monday, right? I'll be looking forward to that. I'm sure there's some real juicy information there. Well, what do we have here? Former Congresswoman Lucy Flores claims that creepy Uncle Joe Biden made her feel uneasy, gross, and confused when he came up behind her, put his hands on her shoulders, and began inhaling, sniffing her hair. Then he kissed her on the back of the neck. Flores wrote her story for New York Magazine. Biden was attending a campaign rally for her in 2014 when this occurred. Who do you think's behind this? Happened in 2014. The story was written a while back, but all of a sudden it resurfaces. Who do you think is trying to cut the legs out from underneath Uncle Joe? I'm thinking the Rotten Reverend, as I've been telling you for quite some time now, that if Uncle Joe enters the race, the Rotten Reverend Clinton will cut his legs out from underneath him. This is a message to Uncle Joe. Hey, guess what? It's me, Hillary. I got all kinds of stuff on you. You might want to change your mind about jumping into the race, because it's mine. It's mine. I'm just waiting for the perfect time to jump. So I think that that's where this is coming from. It's this is classic Rotten Reverend Clinton. Who else would do this to Biden? Why would this Democrat do this? Do you think that the Democratic Party did this? I mean, Biden's their boy. That's who they're counting on. Nope. I don't think so. This is coming from somewhere else. Somewhere, a darker place, you might say. And that darker place is the Rotten Reverend Clinton. I can assure you of that. And that's basically how she sends messages. I'm sure she's got a dossier on Creepy Joe. I'm sure she does. Yep. There you go. Let's see what he does. You notice he still hasn't thrown his hat into the ring. They keep saying he's going to. But he hasn't done it yet. And why is he leaving all that money out there? Everybody else is out there getting the donors. I mean, the last guy in, it's pretty tough to get the donors. Now, he's probably been told that when he walks in the door, announces he's going to run, he'll immediately pick up a lot of super donors from the DNC's big donor people. That's not good for him, because, as we know, one of the big issues for the demo commies is they hate corporate America, and they consider any politician who takes corporate money to be disqualified. That's why Bernie does so well with them, because he doesn't take too much corporate money. Unlike Beto and all the rest, Gillibrand, Klobuchar, and all the rest, they all take a lot of corporate money, which is why they probably have no chance. And Uncle Joe thinks that he's going to go in there and take all this corporate money, and then at the same time, out of the other side of his mouth, try to preach to all these millennials who don't want to hear it. So he's still been threatening he's going to throw his hat in the ring, and we keep hearing about it, but he hasn't done it yet. And the media keeps making excuses for why that is. And I contend that the reason why is because Uncle Joe is reading the tea leaves. He's got people around him, advisors and stuff like that, and they're probably telling him, you've got a tough line here. For you to jump in, you've got to immediately move far, far, far to the left. If you do that, then all the corporate donors at the DNC who want you to get in to counter that are going to back out. Also, he knows that the Rotten Reverend Clinton is lurking out there, and he knows that she has a lot of dirt on him. And he knows absolutely for sure that if he gets in her way, she'll absolutely run over him. No problem with that. She'll throw him under the truck immediately without a second thought. And he knows that. I think the reason Uncle Joe is sitting back is because he is trying to decide, is the Rotten Reverend Clinton going to jump in or not? And he wants to make sure he doesn't get in her way because he knows what happens to people who do. That's what he's really waiting for, the Rotten Reverend Clinton's blessing. And has anybody heard the Rotten Reverend giving her blessing to anybody, especially Corporate Joe? Because he would be occupying the same territory she occupied in 2016. The same Democrat. The one that's not so far to the left that they can't win. He's the one, just like she was the one, who was going to be the centrist, the common sense, rational Democrat. That's how Biden would have to run if he had any chance at all. That's the Rotten Reverend Clinton's territory, and he's looking at it. And I think he understands that, and I think this has probably been explained to him, and that's why Uncle Joe hasn't thrown his hat into the ring, because he doesn't know how to position himself. He's probably got people saying, no, man, you got to go hard left, and he's probably got people saying, no, man, you got to go center. You got to get in the center. You got to be the centrist. And at the same time, he's probably got people telling him, don't get in Hillary's way. Make sure it's clear with the Rotten Reverend Clinton before you jump in. There's a lot of things going on in his head right now, I can assure you of that. But I'm sure he didn't appreciate this article, even though he did have his spokesperson come out today and make a statement that he didn't think there was anything particularly wrong with what he did. But it's not the first time he's done that. There are multiple videos of Uncle Joe kissing women on the back of the neck, putting his arms around them just underneath their boobs. He's got young girls, doing the same thing with young girls. That he does this with older women, he does it with younger girls. It doesn't seem to matter. He's just a creep. He's just a creep. So there you go. We'll keep following this, but like I said, that's pretty much what I expect. I think eventually he probably will throw his hat in the ring at some point, but it'll be, and I don't know where he's going to come down. I think he's probably going to try to move to the left. He's probably going to try to play to the left, but his voting record sinks him. His voting record is not going to work for his rhetoric. So that's probably one of the major issues he's having right now. We'll keep watching. Pure entertainment. Barbara Bush. Well, I don't know what all's in her book, but just the last 2 days, even before the book has come out, we're learning some very interesting things. Now we're learning something that I told you just the other day when we were talking about her. I told you that George Herbert Walker had a mistress for many years. Now they're claiming in the book that period of time was only for like 15 years. It was much longer than that. This woman was his mistress back when he was a CIA director. And all the way up until the time, they even admit in the book, apparently all the way up until the time when he was vice president. Man, that's like 25 years or something. So, no, but Bush, he had this mistress for many, many years. And it was pretty well known. So, the book gets some of that right, but not all the way. But anyway, this newest revelation is that Barbara Bush considered suicide over her husband's affair that lasted over a decade. Try about 2.5 decades. And I imagine there'll be more in there. So, yeah, that will freak out a lot of people who are big-time Bush fans, and especially Barbara Bush fans. I've been telling Bush people this for years. I've known this for many, many years. It was not... in fact, it was basically... the rumors were everywhere when Bush was running for president in 92? Yeah, those rumors were everywhere. And it got clamped down. But that's the first time I heard about it, was in the early 90s. Okay, so many of you probably watched the Trump rally last night in Michigan. Wow, Trump was in prime form, prime form. And the best part about it was, in my opinion, I'm sure you guys had your favorite parts, but my favorite part of the Trump speech last night was when he started talking about the bug-eyed fool Adam Schiff, the pencil neck. He called him a pencil neck and said he's got the skinniest little neck I've ever seen. It's a pencil neck. Man, I love it. I love it. And I'm sure many of you saw the clip the other day after the Republicans read that statement. Mike Conaway read that statement, suggesting that Schiff should step down. And when he gave his rebuttal, it was just hilarious. Why he looked like a kid who had just been scolded or something, and it looked like he was about to cry. I will not recuse. This is a travesty. I will not recuse. They need to put that guy under investigation, and the next time he opens his mouth one more time about collusion, obstruction, anything else, whoever is the target, Trump, Papadopoulos, Flynn, whoever, I'd sue his ass. I honestly would take him into court, and I would sue him. I would make him prove what he's saying. If not, I'd sue him for defamation. Shut him up. And he does need to be kicked off that committee. He needs to be actually thrown out of Congress. He and a lot of other people who are out there spreading false conspiracies, knowing they were spreading false conspiracies, by the way. So anyway, yeah, the Trump rally last night, I hope you got to see it. He was in prime form, and I think he needs to continue. The rallies are the best thing that Trump does, and anyone who's advising him to back off on the rallies is crazy, and hopefully he won't take that advice, because I understand he is getting that advice. So, no, never give up the rallies. In fact, keep doing rallies. He should do a rally or two every single week. And I would really like to see Trump, as we get more into the campaign season, especially once we get into the primaries for the Democrats, I'd like to see Trump go right into the belly of the beast, man. I'd like to see Trump go into Chicago. I'd like to see Trump go into New York City. I'd like to see Trump go into San Francisco. I'd love to see that. I really would. Because, he may have more people out there supporting him than we know. I'd love to see that. A Trump rally in San Fran. Whew, God, that would be great. Probably have to throw a lot of people out, but it'd still be funny. Okay, so we're trying to keep up with what's going on in the UK. I mean, it's Mike G doing an excellent job. A couple other people on this channel that are from the UK, which are keeping us informed. And it's really hard to keep up with. I mean, I imagine even if you're a Brit, it's probably hard to keep up with. It's just the craziness is insane. I mean, they had just one vote the other day. They had 8 different resolutions that they brought forward to see if any of the 8 could get a majority approval. One actually got within like 6 or 8 votes, but all 8 failed. So finally, Theresa May finds a tricky way to get around this third vote, because the Speaker of the Parliament said, no, you can't come back for a third time unless the bill was drastically different. So she pulled a few parliamentary tricks, and they had another vote, and that vote failed as well, and it failed by like 56 some odd votes. So, really today, the 29th, should have been the day that the UK left the EU without a deal. If they couldn't get a deal by the 29th, it was supposed to be, that's it. This was hard Brexit day today. It didn't happen. And it's looking more and more like it's not going to happen. And it seems to be what they're going to be looking at in the UK is to either cave in and sign on to some sort of bad deal, which is a Brexit, but not really Brexit at all, or just completely not vote on Brexit and wait until they have elections. And I think that that's probably the wise move. I would not sign on to a half-assed Brexit, a Brexit that isn't really Brexit at all. I would rather resist that, not vote for that, and wait until the next elections come, and then hopefully after you have new elections and you get a lot more actual pro-Brexit people in there, and I assume that would be the case, then you don't have to have the vote again. You just actually instate what was actually voted for. You actually do it, and I think that they probably could do that. So that's the way it looks like to me, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think the next move, I'm just guessing here, I'm guessing the next move is that Theresa May is going to try to get the EU to give them a really, really long extension, like a year or even 2-year extension. And there's a lot of political risk to that. I think Theresa May should step down. I think they should force her to step down. I think, she's done. She's failed miserably. I can't believe that she's still, in her position. And, it just, I feel so bad for all these Brexit people. I mean, I remember how excited we all were. We watched that vote so closely, and it was just such an incredible, almost surreal moment, in the last week or so when we really started to see, Brexit move up. We started to see that 2-3 point, edge. And I was thinking, man, is this rigging in the polling? Is something going on here, or is this legit? But of course, then the day came and the vote came and Brexit won. And I remember just being so, I was exhilarated. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people who supported it, were, surprised and happy, and it was great. But to watch what has happened since that, it's just been very discouraging, to say in the least. And I can imagine if you're a person living in Great Britain who voted for Brexit, how you must feel. It's you got to feel just terrible. And I'm not so sure, they go for a 1 or 2 year extension, which the EU acts like they don't want to do. I'm not really sure how that's going to be received by people in the UK, but I would have to think that, and again, I'm not an expert on British politics at all, but it just seems to me, just in general, that if Theresa May goes to the EU and asks for this lengthy extension of a year or 2 years, and they approve it, and I'm not so sure they would, but if they go through this lengthy thing and they approve this 2 year, I have to assume that Theresa May, within the very near future, would be forced out, and I have to assume that at some point there would have to be some new elections, and they would elect new people and hopefully get the Brexit done. But it's also possible that there could be some other parliamentary tricks put in place that could somehow screw this thing up, so that you could end up with Jeremy Corbyn, who in which case would cut a deal with the EU and get rid of the Brexit altogether. They might even try to have another vote. Now, I think if they had another Brexit vote, I actually think Brexit would probably win bigger. It's just, I don't know that. I think that. So we'll continue to watch, but it's just extraordinary watching the chaos and the incompetence that's been playing out, and it's finally reached critical mass because, of course, today was the day that hard Brexit should have happened, and it didn't. And we'll just keep watching this story, but I sure am pulling for the Brexiteers in the UK, and I don't see the path there now, and that's sad, because there never should have been a question. The people voted for Brexit. They should get Brexit, real Brexit, not a deal. They didn't vote for a deal. They voted for Brexit. So we'll continue to watch, and we'll continue to follow the comments of Mike and a couple of the other Brits who are on this in the comment section here on TowerGate. So thanks a lot, Mike. We appreciate you keeping us up to date. Okay, since we're talking about the UK, we might as well talk about this. The BBC, which is fake news, has been forced to apologize to the Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, and now the BBC is going to pay him damages after claiming that Poroshenko paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to meet with President Trump. And apparently, Michael Cohen was said to have been the guy who took the payments. This turned out to be fake news. And at first, once they were busted, the BBC tried to say, oh, well, we kind of got this from here or there. It was reported here, and we just kind of... No. They did an investigation and found out the originator of the story was the BBC. Fake news, British style. So there you go. They're going to pay damages, and they have had to apologize to Petro Poroshenko. Fake news. It's everywhere. Uh-oh. Rand Paul. So yesterday we talked about the fact that Rand Paul raised a resolution, or I don't know if it was a resolution then, but he was saying that he was going to want to have a vote to tack on to this resolution that they already passed to get the Mueller report released, which passed in the House 420 to zip. So now Rand Paul wants to attach onto that resolution something else that would force the release of all communications from Obama administration officials in regards to the Spygate or the Trump Russia, however you want to look at it. And he wants the communications between Brennan, Peter's been stroking us, Loretta Lynch, Bruce Orr, and Obama administration and Obama himself. So what he's going to do, because you can do this in the Senate, he's actually going to attach this on so that the resolution will not be able to come to a vote in the Senate unless they attach this. So they have to attach this in order for it to come to a vote in the Senate. So essentially Rand Paul is now blocking the resolution for the release of the Mueller report until communications are released from Obama administration officials, including Brennan, Peter's been stroking us, Get Back Loretta, Bruce Orr, and probably others. And he says in his statement, very matter-of-factly, we need to know if Obama was involved in the plot against Trump. Yep. That's right. Oh, and by the way, after Rand Paul made that statement and said he was going to attach this to the resolution when it comes over to the Senate, we learn that after Rand Paul brought this up and said he was going to attach this resolution to the resolution that came through the House, we learned that John Brennan, Mr. Potato Head, had a meeting with the House Democrat leadership. After Rand Paul made that statement yesterday, Brennan shows up for a meeting with the House Democratic leadership. What do you think they were talking about? Hey, here's some good news for Jussie. Jussie's been nominated for an NAACP Image Award. Oh, an NAACP Image Award. Oh man, these people are, oh man. The National Association of Liberal Colored People. Yep, I don't think so. Hey, here's some good news. Trump is at 49%, which is about 6 points better than Obama was at the same point at this time in his presidency. 49%, and that number's going up. Up. Now, on the flip side of that is bad news for the wild-eyed commie, Cortez, who now has fallen to 23% popularity. 23%, and of course, she's blaming Fox News. I would say it's probably that new Green Deal and the fact that you just cost the city of New York, many people in your own district who could have probably gotten some good jobs there, cost them that deal with Amazon. I'd say that probably has a lot more to do with it than Fox News. Okay, so Adam the bug-eyed fool, Schiff, is still hooked up on, along with a lot of his friends, in denial about Trump-Russia collusion, obstruction, and everything else. Despite the fact that we now have actual proof, evidence, and a conviction. A conviction. Apparently an animal was crawling down my chimney and is somewhere in my fireplace crying. That's that crazy noise you hear. It's not the It's Alive baby. It's some animal in my chimney. But we'll try to get through it with that all going on in the background. So anyway, as I was just saying, so we now have actual 100% proof, a conviction, which we talked about a couple of days ago, which I figured would be headline news. I figured they would be talking about it everywhere. I figured Adam, the bug-eyed fool Schiff, and all the Democrats would now have their proof of collusion in the 2016 election. We actually have a conviction. And there's a second and a third person likely to also be convicted for meddling in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. And of course, as I told you a couple days ago, that guy was Sergei Leshchenko. Leshchenko has been convicted in court of meddling in the 2016 U.S. presidential election to help Hillary and to harm Trump. And there's two other individuals that will be facing the same charges and will likely be convicted. One of them, it's alleged that one of them is actually on tape talking about it and admitting it. Oh yeah, we're trying to help Hillary and screw Trump. So there you go. Evidence of the rotten Reverend Clinton colluding with the foreign government of Ukraine to rig the 2016 elections. But no Democrats seem to be very interested in that, are they? I think that Republicans should be making this a point front and center. And they should be calling Mr. Leshchenko over. They should be conducting hearings to begin in... I mean, if you have a conviction of this guy meddling in the 2016 elections with other people, colluding with people from the DNC, it even appears Hillary Clinton directly, Confusion GPS, Nellie Orr said Mr. Leshchenko was the source. So here we have clear collusion by the DNC, by Michael Isikoff, direct communications with these Ukraine corrupt officials. Direct collusion. Proven in court between this corrupt Ukrainian official and a couple of his friends with the U.S. ambassador at the Ukraine embassy, Hillary Clinton, the DNC, Glenn Simpson of Confusion GPS, and Michael Isikoff. That's just the ones we know about. Clear evidence, proven in court, conviction standing. Now, there's two other guys, so as well, that'll probably be brought up in the same charges and probably will be convicted. So immediately, in the Senate or wherever, they need to immediately take up this meddling in the 2016 election, this collusion in the 2016 election between the Clinton campaign and the DNC and others with the Ukrainian government, a foreign government. That is what they need to be looking into. And they're not the only one. We know that the UK, we know Australia and Estonia were all involved in colluding with the Obama administration and the DNC to help the rotten Reverend. These are facts, not conspiracy theories that can be proven. Somebody needs to get on that. So in regards to the Republicans trying to force Adam Bug-Eyed Fool Pencil Neck Schiff off the House Intelligence Committee, Pelosi was asked about it, and Madam Botox says that the Republicans are scaredy cats. They're afraid of Schiff. They're afraid of Adam the Bug-Eyed Fool Schiff. I don't think so. I don't think anybody's afraid of the pencil neck geek, the Bug-Eyed Fool Adam Schiff. Oh my goodness, man, these people are delusional. And of course, we talked earlier in the week about the massive ratings, not just a ratings drop over at CNN and MSNBC on Monday and Tuesday following the report coming out that cleared Trump of collusion and obstruction and everything else. But it was actually a shift. CNN and MSNBC lost a boatload of viewers, and at the same time, those same two nights, every one of the Fox shows, Carlson, Hannity, Ingram, all three picked up a lot. Hannity and Carlson picked up well over 1.5 million new viewers in them 2 nights. 1.5 million new viewers in 2 nights. Simultaneous with CNN and MSNBC losing a combined 1.5 million to 2 million viewers. A whole bunch of people clicked off of CNN and MSNBC and turned over to Fox. Now, Brian Stelter, who I'm sure most of you are familiar with, Squeaky, I call him Squeaky, Squeaky Stelter, is blaming the ratings drop on a slow news week. It was a slow news week. I'm pretty much thinking this will be a very slow news month and a slow news year and probably the end of your career. Squeaky. These people do not even see it coming. Don't even see it coming. Pelosi also says that she's going to fight to support the bill on reparations. She says she will fight to get the Mueller report. Why would she have to fight to get the Mueller report if every single Republican, including the president, has said he wants it released? Who's there to fight? And Mueller and Barr said he's going to release it. He's going to release everything that he can legally release. He can't release grand jury information, and he has to run it by the intel community so they can take out anything that's classified. Other than that, he's releasing it. So Barr's going to release it. Trump's all for it. 100% of the Republicans voted for it. What is the fight? Who's she fighting? Nobody. It's a talking point. That's why. So let's add reparations to the Democratic agenda for 2020. So they want sanctuary cities, open borders. They don't not only want to not build new wall, they want to tear down existing wall. They want Medicare for all, which would bankrupt the country. They want the Green New Deal. They obviously want war with Russia. And now they want reparations. And let's not forget post-birth abortion. That's the Democratic agenda for 2020, my friends. I'm not lying. I mean, I've been, I'm just reporting this stuff, man. You know this is true. I'm not, pulling this out of my, out of the air. This is all true. This is what they're running on, man. I kid you not. That's why I say Trump could very well win in a huge landslide in 2020. He might win California. Well, it appears that the television show, which I've never watched, Empire, ratings have crashed to an all-time low. Now, the question here is, why did the ratings crash? Did the ratings crash because they kind of put Jussie off the show? Or are the ratings crashing because they're sending out the signals that they're going to bring him back? I'm not really sure. I don't watch the show. I don't know who the viewers are. But regardless, the fact is, the ratings on that show are crashing. And I'm sure it's all about Jussie, who I think is still going to face some consequences. I mean, I don't think he's getting off the hook. I really don't. I think he's still facing possible federal charges, but I think that there's some sort of a plot that was going on here to exonerate him. And I think when they get to the bottom of that, I think there's going to be a lot of people in trouble and some high profile people very embarrassed. Some of them may be named Michael Obama. Some of them may be named Kamala Harris. Some of them may be named Cory Booker. Eric Holder. America was never great. Add that to the list of campaign slogans for Democrats for 2020. Vote Democrat because America was never great. And we'll make sure it never is great. Keep America sucking ass. Vote Democrat. God. I've never seen such an incompetent group of people in my life. Holy smoke. Okay, well, we're out of time for this evening. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks so much. We'll be back tomorrow with more TowerGate. Take care. See ya. Bye.